DIY investing for a lot of savers in your working years. It's all good. You've even said, John, it's actually kind of easy. You just put money in your 401k or, you invest in some ETFs. And you should be...
Hookah. It grows over time. And voila, retirement simplicity, right? It's like the Ron Popeil Showtime rotisserie oven of investing.
When it comes to DIYing things, John, you yourself have said, for a lot of us in our working years, if you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you don't need me right now. You said that. It's when you get to retirement, though, things change a lot. And even very successful savers and investors need a lot of help in this space because it is such a complicated web.
Sure. I mean, it's amazing. Most people, because of the evolution of finances, when we're working and saving money, whoever would have thought that saving the money and growing it is the easy part?
Right.
Amazingly, though, when you look at almost every single major study that's been done by Forbes and Fortune and Fidelity, all the Fs, and then Schwab and all the other people, right? What they find out is consistently, it's pulling money out to live off of later, basically harvesting what we've saved. That's actually the difficult part because all of the things that happen, they happen in sequence, right? So when we're growing that money, most people don't need an advisor. They can save that money and pocket that. And here's a way to think about it, especially if you're in your 30s and 40s. Hey, do good, prudent things. Buy diversified equities. Don't take more risk than you need. And then just let it grow in the long run. Now, if you've saved that money and banked that all those years, you're sitting on hopefully a huge amount more money because you didn't pay an advisor that makes it potentially worth it to hire one as you're coming down the mountain, as you're actually retiring so that you get it all right. Those are big. But yeah, there's a lot of DIYers that get so close.
So close. Let's unpack this actual experience, firsthand experience of, there was an article on MSN.com where the writer himself was detailing how he had planned for his own retirement. He was DIYing it. And he pointed out a few areas where he got it wrong. And those areas, one, he said he had to self-fund his healthcare for a couple of years, which was a lot more expensive than he thought it was going to be. He figured Social Security would be enough to handle his monthly expenses. It was not. His biggest miss was unexpected expenses, John. Things like a house repair, a car repair, a trip. These were all budget busters that forced him to cut back his lifestyle, things none of us want to hear. So I want to ask you about these things or other areas that you feel DIY savers and investors need to know about going into retirement, why it gets a little bit more difficult to do it yourself. But also how you help folks avoid these problems.
Yeah. So when you think about it, so I looked at this article myself, and the author said, yeah, I made several mistakes. I don't know that he made any mistakes. Okay. What I know is that what he was doing was going on his own wisdom and in his own life experiences, and he was just making decisions based on the best he knew. This is why it's so interesting when I say, hey, most people don't really need a financial advisor until they're really contemplating 3 to 5 years before retirement, or they've just retired, because the math is different. The math changes. And it's not the fact that that advisor knows so much more than you do. What it is, often, if they're skilled and they're holistic in their approach, they've just seen this thousands and thousands of times. It's not their first one. So when he said, I underestimated for healthcare. Well, hold on. Why would that be the case? The biggest thing we want to do is make sure there's a huge margin for error. So if you kind of look at some of the numbers, and I had them pulled up a minute ago, when you look at some of the numbers for a 64-year-old, now that in 2025, the Affordable Care Act, all of those extra subsidies, they're out, they're gone now. Because of that, it could actually have increased costs of 18 to 24% a year, which is kind of lunacy when you think about it. So if you were to think about healthcare costs and not factor in, they could have a tremendous increase. Well, that's a problem. The other thing that it mentioned was his Social Security wasn't enough. Now, we know what Social Security is going to be. We can look that up. That's not complicated. The question is, how much do we keep after taxes? What tax bracket are we in? And that is another piece of the puzzle that's an issue. And it reminds me of a story. So in 1911, 2 different groups, both well-adapted explorers, they were going to go to the South Pole. They were going to go to Antarctica, and they were going to check it all out and see if they could be the first one to put their flag in the South Pole. Well, 2 different groups went out. They were both well-capitalized. They both were experienced. They knew what they were doing, and both of them did the plan. Here's the amazing thing. In 1912, only one group came back. It wasn't because they had more money. It wasn't because they had more anything. But here's how it works. When you're going to go to Antarctica with all of the snow that it gets every day for months at a time, the amazing thing is they call it a whiteout, where you get so much snow, it covers up everything, even like 2 and 3 foot flags. So the two different groups, one group had done flags where they stored their food. So in order to make it back, they couldn't take all of their packs of food with them the entire way to the South Pole. They had to bury them in the ice and in the snow and then find them on the way back so they would have enough rations to survive on the way back. That's how they do it.
Okay.
Well, one group made their flags and did it linearly. Now, here's the problem. That was the one group. Those were experts. They knew what they were doing, right? They didn't calculate enough room for margin. Now, the second group, what they did is they actually did 3 rows of flags to get to their food. And they went 8 miles wide. Their flags were over the course of 8 miles wide because they figured if we get turned around or we get off of our latitude or longitude for a period of time, we may never find a flag. And think about it. If you're looking out at nothing, let's use an example that I know we've all typically seen. If you're looking out over the ocean and you're only 100 yards off, isn't that like being 100 miles off? I mean, how would you ever see anything? So the group that made it back wasn't because they were smarter, more capitalized, more educated. What it is they took all the precautions that they were aware of to be certain that it didn't cause them to not come home. So that preparation is why most people need to consider this is many people, it's their first time retiring.
Hopefully.
It's their first time sitting. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, right. And hopefully they look at that and realize, wow, this is my first time. I made it to the top of the mountain. I'm here. But by the time we get to the top, we're a little haggard. Our ankles don't feel as good. Our hips aren't the same way that they were maybe when we were starting the journey. And then to have that fatigue and then to come down the mountain, that's where people stumble and they fall. And unfortunately, they don't make it back home. So when you're thinking about this, the greatest reason to ever consider a financial advisor is not because they're so smart or they know all the best investments or they get you in this investment or that investment or da-da. No. It's because they should have hopefully seen it all or 99% of it before. They know what to protect not only themselves from, but protect every client from, because all those things out there like interest rates and market collapses and tweets in the middle of the night and all these things and wars, none of those are controllable. But if we know what to protect ourselves from, those margins for safety net make the biggest difference in the world. And the craziest thing is a lot of people that DIY, their biggest reason to not hire an advisor is like, it's expensive. I can do that on my own. Most people are exactly right. Anyone can do simple money management. It is not even complicated. You can probably own Charles Schwab funds or Vanguard funds or the least expensive Fidelity funds. Let it rock and roll and grow it to the moon. And then that's great and wonderful. The question is, how do we pull that money out? Protect what we've got first so it doesn't all evaporate in a market failure. At the same time, produce income that we can spend with consistency, even if the market doesn't cooperate, or even if interest rates go a weird direction, or no matter what happens, we still need to know that income we can actually count on each and every month. And the third of the big 3 is making sure that we don't give too much to the government. Because if we made 100%, well, we only get to keep 60%. That's 40% we're leaving on the table. And that's exactly what taxes can do. We think we get this great return, but we only keep about half of it, depending on what our tax bracket is. So that is a big deal. So if we can focus on protecting our money correctly, because we have a huge margin for safety net, and then we create an income that no matter what, we can outlive. It's going to come in with consistency. And then third, we're being tax conscious. But that doesn't mean we're trying to never pay taxes. It just means we're being the most efficient we can so that the majority of those dollars we saved, we can put in our pocket. If we focus on those 3 things, it's kind of like the group that came back from the South Pole that made it. They gave themselves a really big margin for error. If they were 8 miles off of where they thought they should be, they could still potentially win, and they made it home. So those are those things. Even if you have been masterful even at managing money, keep doing that. The question is, do you understand? What does your CPA say about it? What does your tax attorney say about it? Do you have the money in the right buckets? What's the jurisdiction? Are you protected in the event of a health scare of one of the spouses? Because that's what happened to my parents. You know, my dad had a stroke. Fortunately, he didn't pass away, but for 8 years, it really sucked out the money from their accounts that my mom had saved, or that they had saved for my mom, because they were having to pay for in-home care. A couple little things had I known back then, right? And I didn't even manage my parents' money back then, but had a couple things been done differently, it could have protected some of that money, $600,000 sucked out of their accounts for something that could have potentially been prevented. But because I have lived through that, now I know how to plan away from it, right? And so those are those things about a good holistic advisor. It's really a lot less money management, more a lot of, hey, here's what we have seen that has happened. Here's how to protect ourselves from that. And if things are good, we just have a lot more money and a lot more fun. If things are bad, we can still retire and do all the things we wanted to do. We just are going to be a little cautious from time to time. I think that is the best way to do it.
Protection, income, tax efficiency. And then, of course, the other things that fold in between those three big pillars. Working to ensure that this is the kind of plan you have built for yourself for your retirement is what John and his team can help you figure out. You can go to our website anytime. It's retirementsolutionsshow.com. And that's where you can begin the conversation with John and his team. We also have links posted in the show notes.